Shoot. That's why I need a big scarf. It's the edge scarf, but I need the big scarf because this part I can feel it. It's getting poofy. It's not gonna lay. It's not gonna dry right. All right, so this part 2 of my video on slick ponytail and healing from past life bullying. So right now my hair is drying from the gel I put in it, and plus it was wet all the way from I just got out the shower not too long ago. So now I'm gonna just mostly talk until the end, and I'm gonna take this off at the end. So in the first video I told y'all, you know, experiences with me getting bullied in elementary school and middle school. So, and I had rushed it a little bit because I had something to do, but that just got canceled. So, you know, now I'm here with part 2, and it don't have to take an hour for me to get to part 2. So, what I want to piggyback off of what I said in that video is, first of all, getting bullied as a child, no matter what you got bullied for, who you got bullied by, you know, how it happened, none of that. If you got bullied at a young age by kids, by adults, by parents, by like anybody, by the dog, anything, like if you got bullied, you have every right to own your experience. You have every right to heal from your experience. Which healing, what people don't understand about healing is healing takes space and honesty. Space, first of all, to heal. You cannot heal in the same environment that's breaking you down. Honesty, because you cannot heal from something if you're not being truthful about in all reality what happened. Because if you trying to heal from something that's false, you're not healing from something that's happened for real. So honesty and space is the two biggest things in healing. So first of all, God have me healing in a backwards motion right now, because I healed from what had broke me down, like the feather on the camel's back. I healed from that already, kinda. Not kinda, but I did, and that's why I'm able to heal now from other things. Because once you start consciously believing in yourself, that, you know, from the jump, how you was when you was a kid, and all the talent you had when you was a kid, and the optimism you had as a kid, the potential you had as a kid, which your potential is probably the reason why other people was insecure around you and bullied you and tried to break you down and tear you down even before you even knew what you was capable of. Because spiritually, we have three big signs, which is our sun sign, our rising sign, and our moon sign. So our sun sign is our identity of what we perceive ourselves as and what we have going on the inside and consciously, mindfully within us and stuff, and what we think we are. Your rising sign is what you really are. That's your higher self. And usually your higher self, if you're in a good position and you grounded, is how other people are going to perceive you and how other people are going to see you in their mind. Excuse me. I don't know why I got a lot of air in me right now. And then your moon sign is your emotions and your deep down, like, inner wounds and inner child healing stuff, and it's the foundation. It's like the skeleton of what makes you your sun sign, and how you think you need to be, and how you think you need to, you know, act and stuff like that. But like I'm saying, your rising sign is who you are. Your rising sign is who you present yourself as to the world. So, for example, I am an Aquarius, which that means that Aquarius is my sun sign. So Aquarius is how I am inside, and who I am in my own body, who I believe I am, and who I work with on a daily basis, which you might can tell if you watch my videos. My moon sign is a Taurus, and that is why, for me in my life, I'm really big on stability. I'm actually very stubborn, and I don't show my emotions, and that has something to do with my sun sign too. I don't show my emotions like in an emotional way. I'm very nonchalant about perceiving my emotions because my intellect is very high. As a young kid, I had to learn how to communicate in a very sensible way my emotions, and in turn that made me not express my emotions because people don't even understand the way I talk. My intellect be way too deep for other people, and they don't be understanding anyway. So I just keep it to myself, and I just explain it to myself in an intellectual way to make me not be able to react in an ungrounded way when I feel the emotions that I feel. But also, Taurus is very keen on stability, money, and all that kind of stuff, and that's my moon sign. So that's what drives me in my life. I need stability. I need stability. I need a solid foundation, or I'm not going to feel grounded, and I'm not going to feel like I'm doing enough. I feel like I'm going to always feel like I'm losing if I don't have stability. But like I just told y'all, rising sign. My rising sign is a Leo. And this, I just learned this not too long ago, and I just learned how people perceive you is from your rising sign too, which how people perceive you is what creates insecurities within themselves and stuff like that. And if they're not grounded and balanced, they project it back onto you. So this is making a lot of sense, and that's exactly why I'm talking about getting bullied right now and healing from that and all that kind of stuff. That's why I'm talking about this right now, because I just made this conclusion and made this discovery of why it's been happening to me my whole life unprovoked. So, as we all know, if you are into spirituality and stuff like that, the Leo sign is the kings and queens and drama kings and queens and the people that so-called they want so much attention, but really in all reality what it is they get so much attention. And that is because they the lion, they the king, the lion king. That's what it is. That's it. And you know, every sign is their own like goddess and god and stuff like that, and like they have a strong suit and a superpower. But one of the for the Leo is that they the lion, the king. So all my life I always would be doing stuff. I would just be being me. Promise you. I don't talk to nobody. I just do me. You know, I do my schoolwork. I'm smart actually. So from first grade, I got moved up into a higher math class. I was 2 grade levels ahead of my math class from first grade, which it was really before first grade. But in first grade is when they made me do the switch to where every single time that was math time, because you know in elementary school and stuff like that, you stay in the same class all the way up into junior high. You stay in the same class. So since first grade, every time it was math time, I would always get put into a different classroom, which was for the people who was accelerated for their grade level, it was called tag. At least I remember it was called tag in middle school. So I would always have to go to a different class for math, and it was always me and this one boy during middle school. It was always me and Larson, and I feel like that's why we was always in the same class, because we was the only two people. But in middle school, they had north, west, and south for the whole school, so it was sections. So I don't know how the school system and the administrative system put everybody in their groups of how it was, but from what I could tell, which I'm getting a little bit off topic, but for what I can tell from middle school and how everything went, we had like little quotes of what everything was, which west was the best, south was the mouth, and north was the dorks or something. I don't know. North, they would say north is the dorks or something like that. I don't know. But that was the little saying. But what I could tell what it was really is the north side always had the security guards coming down towards them because they was always fighting and being bad and doing all this crazy stuff. That's what, as I was on the west side. So the thing was like, it's always a fight happening on the north side, and everybody wanted to go to the north side because they want to witness this toxicity. But yeah, so on the south side, it was more like the people who was like they was like a neutral level of like, I don't know. I don't want to explain it how I'm thinking to explain it, because that's low key, like, that's kind of rude, but that's how I perceived it. I ain't gonna lie. But like, you know how I just said the quote thing for north was the dork or whatever, the whatever. So south in my opinion, that was more for like the kids that was like, I don't want to say just chill, because it's not just chill that I'm looking for, but I'm gonna explain it as like they was more chilled and laid back, and they didn't really probably like, I don't know how to explain it in a very good way, so I'm gonna skip that. But from what I experienced from West was like what it said. West was the best, but really it was like West was full of the kids who like, they was like the oddballs that really was like the stars. It's always the black sheep, the oddball, the scapegoat. They really be the ones that's the shit. They be the ones that's gonna be good. That's them, the ones that got, it's just something about them. They got so much potential, but their potential is way different than what it's supposed to be at this age and at this group, and what they really want society to be like and conform to. The West was like the oddballs to me. The West Side was like the oddballs, the weird kids, the popular kids, the like, I don't know, like accelerate. Like I said, what the thing was called, it was called TAG, which meant talented and gifted. Which there was a big group of TAG kids, which it was the kids that was in my grade and the other grades too, but I'm gonna specifically speak for my grade. They was accelerated in all their classes. They was accelerated above the grade level for all of their classes. But me and Larson, we was the only two that only came in the mix during math time. Only came in during math time. That kind of did a little bit something to my ego, which it should have just made me grateful that I, like, you know, okay, so I'm good at math, whatever, so good. But just being there only for math, I just felt like the difference between the people, like they always knew like we only was coming in there for math class, so we wasn't really part of the group or whatever. We was part of the group, but we wasn't like really part of the group or whatever. Okay, but anyway, back to what I was saying. I don't even know what I was supposed to be telling y'all now that I got into that story. Not story, but that explanation. Okay, well anyway, so people see me as the energy of a Leo when I'm grounded, because being grounded and being balanced have a lot to do spiritually with if you do your horoscope and stuff, and you be like, this ain't me, or this don't seem like me, or whatever. It's because it has so much to do with what level of yourself you're at. If you are healed or if you're not healed, if you're balanced or if you're unbalanced, if you're open or if you're closed off. It has so much to do with more than just like one little thing, and that's why some people they don't agree with what their character traits say about them, and that's because they unbalanced to what they really are, which that's for them to start their healing process. Which I'm gonna just tell y'all this right now: not everybody that is alive gets a chance to be who they supposed to be, because not everybody alive understands the fact that we are spiritual beings and that we are supposed to heal from what we've been through and wake up and then do stuff differently. They're not woke like that. And that's why this virus is going around that I'm talking about, and we talking about COVID is a virus. It's not a bacteria. So bacteria is what can get fixed. Bacteria is what get fixed. That's why when it comes to STDs and STIs are bacterial. STDs are viruses, I mean. So viruses, like it's nothing. Viruses is very spiritual. That's why STD, really sexually transmitted disease / sexually transmitted demon. Everything is spiritual. Everything. But just how it's a lot of people don't believe in spirituality stuff, a lot of people don't believe in God, it's a lot of high up people that have their own perception and stuff like this, and that's where the corruption come in at. Because it is people out there that don't believe in a higher source and don't believe in God and don't believe in the universe, which we in the universe, so that don't make sense to me. So that's why it's for us to wake up and for us to always do what's right for us and best for us. Anyway, all right, so let me get back to bullying. Like I said, like I got off the topic. Okay. So, the sun just all up in my face. Well, let me get my hair dry, actually. Let me stay up here. So, I'm a jump start. So, in that video, I talked about middle school and elementary school. So, those aren't the only things that happen in middle school and elementary school and stuff like that. But those were some of the bigger things that happened that had, that's at the moment having an impact on me right now. Is why I'm having to heal from it. That's why I'm thinking about it. Because I haven't thought about this stuff. I haven't thought about this stuff for so long. Like, 1,000,001 things happen in one day. Like I'm saying, that stuff was so many years ago. Like, so many years ago. But just all of a sudden today, like, it's the full moon. I promise y'all, like, stuff is, the spiritual stuff really going on right now. And it's really, it's big and it's important. And that's why it's important for people to be woke right now. But anyway, those are just the things that, like, you know, they just came up to me this way. So I'm talking about it. So now I'm going to talk about, because now that just made me think about high school stuff. Because my bullying didn't stop in high school. When I moved in 11th grade, that's when the bullying died down. Because that's when I moved and I went to a different school during 11th grade. That's when I started becoming my true, I became like a better version of myself. I started waking up to myself and understanding like that I am a person in this world and my life matters and what I'm doing matters and how I feel matters and what I go through matters. That's when I started awakening to that. So before I moved though, in high school, two of the big things that was happening in high school, I'm gonna just tell y'all one, because one of them, the other one was like, I ain't gonna lie, that one was fun to me because I was half woke for that one. I was getting woke for that one, but that's because that situation was just like, it was funny to me, so it wasn't like a big deal to me. It was funny to me, but in all reality, it probably was way bigger than what I'm thinking it is. Which if it is, I'm gonna end up having the memory pop up in my head, and then I'm gonna talk about it. But so one of the big things that happened for high school around bullying and stuff like that, I was getting into it with this girl who I had known actually for a long time, and we was on again, off again friends. But I wasn't getting into it with her. Like I'm saying, none of this stuff ever was physical first. Like, none of that stuff was ever physical. It was energetic stuff, and I just was peeping the fact that people was being fake and people was doing stuff like behind my back, and people was like really not liking me, like they had animosity, and like I just could feel that energy basically. So it wasn't physical all the way yet. But I don't, when I feel energy like that, I don't just ignore it. I would be a dummy to ignore stuff like that. You get your intuition and stuff like that for a reason. So me feeling this energy, I could tell she was like acting weird or whatever. So she mixed though. So like, I'm black obviously. So she mixed. And at this time in high school, because like I said, we had a years and years and years of on again, off again, like so-called friendship or whatever. But now in high school, she was friends with this white girl, this other mixed girl, and then I feel like it was some more people, but I don't know them, so I don't really know who they was or whatever. But specifically, I remember the white girl and another mixed girl, whatever. So I don't know exactly. I don't know. So I ain't gonna lie. It was some playful stuff. It was some playful, like, extra stuff that went on before this specific thing happened. But all of a sudden though, this white girl who I barely knew, which just only because it's a lot of like bystanders coming into the mix of stuff that they don't even really know about really, and that's the bystander is always the one who I end up fighting or whatever, because it's not about people do or what they say, it's about their intentions behind what they do and what they say that gets me. So if I can tell somebody being so malicious in their intent to what they doing to me, that infuriates me more than if somebody mindlessly doing some shit because they're hurt and because they're mad and this and that and this and that. Because I can tell underlying, okay, they're hurt, they're insecure, you know, they're going through stuff in their life, da-da-da. Because I'm empathetic like that. But when I can tell somebody being dead-ass malicious, that infuriates me. So the mixed girl is who I was having a problem with first or whatever. But like I'm saying, that was like the more physical. She was doing stuff on the outside because, you know, we had a background. Promise you, since 4th grade. Actually, it was before 4th grade. Because actually, one of her sisters was one of the ones that bullied me when I was in elementary school. But that's a different story. I ain't getting into stories right now because, like I'm saying, I'm just healing from it. I don't really care to awaken anything and stuff like that because, I'm just healing. But I was having a little problem with her or whatever, and we was doing our little subliminal stuff or whatever. Because, like I said, it wasn't physical, outright talking about it, doing stuff for real. It was energy. But then her white friend just decided to insert herself in what we was going through or whatever. Or maybe she got her white friend involved in or whatever. But like I said, the bystander is usually always the one who I end up getting into altercations with. So, long story short with that though. One day, basically, she was like texting me. And like the white girl, she was texting me. She was being racist, saying baby kids and stuff like that. Like she was just saying so many racist, derogatory things. And in my mind, I'm like, but you friends with mixed people. So how are you racist if you being friends with mixed people at school? That don't make sense. But anyway, so she was just throwing a whole bunch of derogatory things at me. And Snapchat, she was just texting me a whole bunch of like stuff that was all racist and shit. And I don't know if it was because she had mixed friends that she thought she could say nigger and that she thought she could say all of these derogatory things. But she did. And I didn't care if she was friends with mixed people or not. Because still, they're mixed. Anyway, long story short. So, she basically told me that I couldn't sit at the seat that we was all sitting at that time. Which, that was my seat first. Technically, which we ain't even gonna talk about my seat first, move your meat, lose your seat, all that kind of stuff, because the only reason why they got that table and thought that they sat there first was because I had, like I said, so my whole life, like, after a while of being depressed and getting bullied and all of this stuff from my childhood and all this kind of stuff building up on me, I started going to the mental hospital. That started in, I think, 8th grade, 9th, no, it started in 9th grade. My first time, no, it started in 10th grade. Nope, it started in 9th grade. Wait, no, I don't know. The first time ever, I think I was in 10th grade. Because the first time ever, that's what made me fall behind in chemistry. It was the first week of school, first week back of school, and we went on a Thursday. I went to school, and then over the weekend, I went to the hospital, and I stayed in the hospital for like a week. So I missed the first week of chemistry, which I feel like that's, I want to say 8th, no, that's 10th grade. That's either 9th grade or 10th grade. But anyway, it's high school. So anyway, during chemistry, that was the first time I ever went to the mental hospital. But anyway, that's not this time. This was 11th or 10th grade. So I don't know how the timeline go now. Now that I'm thinking about it, that's weird. So basically, she told me that I couldn't sit at the table. And I'm like, nah, the fuck? This was my table first. So I made sure I was super early out of homeroom, homeroom before lunch, to go put my stuff at the table because I was sitting at that table. I know she ain't finna tell me where I can't sit. The fuck? So I put my stuff there, and I don't know what I did, but anyway, lunch started. So I got into my lunch line or whatever, but my adrenaline was pumping or whatever because I'm really mad. This girl really said all of this stuff to me in my inbox like she was about that life when, I mean, she can think she about that life, but baby, the life that I'm thinking about, why you coming at me the way you coming at me, all of these derogatory names and stuff, this ain't playful. I don't know you like that, baby. It ain't no sympathy behind what you doing. And it was way too malicious for me, so I was very heated about it. So I'm in the line, but I can feel myself getting heated. Like I said, the energy be letting me know all the shit that I need to know. So my body, I'm in line. My body started feeling hot, which, like I said, when I get at that point of finna black out and stuff, I get cold. But this time, my body had got hot, and I don't know if it was because, and I don't know why this time specifically my body got hot, but my body got hot, and I wasn't used to that type of energy, but I knew that it had something to do with this group of people, whatever. So I'm like, okay, fuck it. And if I end up fighting today, I just end up fighting today. But like I said, I'm not a very violent person, so really I don't start fights. But this fight was one of the very first times I started the fight physically. Like, physically I started the fight. But technically, not physically though. They started that shit. But this time I started the fight. So I was like I start getting visions. Like last night, That was my first time in a little bit, actually, some months, really getting a vision. So I was putting ranch on my salad, and I'm so sorry. So disclaimer, so anybody that hear me say this that went to high school with me and know what I'm talking about right now, and I'm finna talk about the ranch story. I'm so sorry if I got that ranch on you and you was not a part of this whole situation. I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. Like I said, when I black out, bro, it's a different story. Anyway, so I started blacking out hotly, but I was hot, so it wasn't nothing going on the outside. But I was hot, and I started blacking out, and I started visioning stuff while I was putting the ranch on my salad, which it was only spinach. It wasn't a salad. It was spinach and some more stuff. So by the time I look up from having a little blackout of images in my head or whatever, I look at my plate, and my plate dripped up in ranch, and I'm like, oh shit. And the person who was next in line to get some ranch from where I was at, they was looking at me like, bitch, what the fuck you need all that ranch for? But anyway, so I couldn't do shit, and I wasn't finna throw my food away either, even though the food ended up being thrown away. So when I turn around from the thing, and I'm going back to finna go sit at the seat, you know, I'm trying to cool myself off. Like, I ain't never been hot mad. I ain't never been hot, like, in fear. Like, I ain't never been hot before, so that shit was, like, getting me off. So, like, I wasn't shaking or nothing. I was just really heated. I was hot, like, and I ain't never felt that before. But as soon as I turn around, all them bitches sitting at my table, because it was my table by then, because I'm like, no, ain't bitches not finna kick me out my spot. The fuck? But they all sitting there, and then I see my stuff on the floor. Bitch, I'm mad as fuck. You touching my shit, you doing this shit on purpose, and you keep fucking with me. Like, everything fucking with me. Like, so I blacked out. First, no, then not yet. But, so I saw that, so I started walking up or whatever, and the guy, wait, what was he called? So, I don't know. I don't think, not the principal, but the dean. Okay, the dean for my graduating class, the dean. So I love him too. I ain't gonna lie. At this moment, I was mad at him, and actually, I felt like I didn't like him at first because, you know, every time you see your dean, it's doing something bad. So I felt like I didn't like him, but I ended up getting to know him, whatever. He a good person or whatever, and I actually liked him. He was nice. He was cool. Mr. Greg, I fuck with you. But so he stopped me and he was like, where you going? Because he already knew like the shit was popping off. He already knew, like, he probably one of them spiritual people too, because like he knew. Like he just knew. So he telling me, no, you can't go over there. I'm like, no, I can't. My stuff was right there first. I was sitting there first. I'm right there. That's how I got my food. They don't have their food. And I'm trying to explain to him, like, no, y'all not finna kick me off this spot. And it could have been, if I was more grounded, it could have just went whatever. It could have been dead, and I could have just, you know, went to another table and, you know, let that shit go. But it was the intention and the spiritual stuff behind all of the shit that made me infuriated, because she was being racist. And, you know, like I just said, I got bullied for being my skin color, myself, all my life. So, first, by black people. So this one of the first times is from a white person. So that just infuriated me even more. And then these mixed bitches too just infuriated me even more. So not to say bitches in a bad way, because like I said, I'm only healing. I don't care no more about the situation or the people, but I'm just saying my story of what I went through. So I start shaking while he telling me I can't sit right there, and I'm trying to explain my story, and I start shaking, but I start shaking so bad. Like, before I black out, I shake. It'd be like probably where somebody could notice it, but it don't be like like that. But at this point, I'm like infuriated so bad. I'm shaking, and I see myself shaking, and I was, like I said, I started off hot. I see myself shaking, and I get ice cold, blank out. Bitch, you want to fight? Blank out. I just remember I threw that plate, and then I blacked out. I threw the plate full of spinach and ranch, and I charged at the girl, and we started fighting. I don't know exactly what happened, whatever, because like I said, I blacked out. But all I know is when I unblacked out, Mr. Greg, the dean, He was on top of me, holding me down, screaming and stuff. And I'm screaming. And like I said, I just came out the blackout. I'm screaming. I don't know what's going on, though. Consciously, I don't know what's going on. But my body already screaming. He's screaming at me. Stop. What you doing? Stuff like that. It's a whole group of people around. And I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. Like, screaming at the top of my lungs, bro. And I'm trying to go crazy. And he really trying to have a hold on me to stay down, whatever. And then the mixed little girl, because I'm going to stop saying bitch, because a lot of people take offense to bitch. I don't know why, but I don't take offense to bitch. But anyway, so the little mixed girl, I just see it at the corner of my eyes. She just come up to me close, and it looked like she trying to put herself on me. I'm like, oh shit, and he holding me down. So I'm infuriated because you can't hold me down and let nobody fucking hit me. But I seen him put his hand up so that he can make sure like she didn't do nothing to me and stuff like that. And it was more people jumping in, making sure it wasn't like, nothing like that. But as that's happening though, like I'm on very much kill mode, guard mode, like I'm screaming at the top of my lungs. Like, I don't even know. Like, it was just crazy. But I'm wilding out. Like, and then I'm thinking that he holding me down, finna let somebody have more power over me and stuff. So I'm really going crazy at that point. But anyway, long story short with that, I ain't look around me or nothing like that. It was like, it was tunnel vision. I couldn't see nobody around me too much. I just knew they was pulling me into the office or whatever. And I was sitting down. Ooh, damn, I do got another high school story. I forgot about that. Damn. But I'm sitting down or whatever. And my adrenaline's still pumping. I haven't calmed down yet, nothing. But as soon as I start calming down and I start getting back aware and grounded and stuff like that, I start feeling my finger burning. And I look down, and I think it was this finger or something like that, or this finger. One of my pinkies, like, it was bleeding. Like, the nail, it wasn't ripped off all the way gone or whatever, but it was lifted to where my skin was bleeding because it had lifted or whatever. And I could taste blood in my mouth at that point too. And I was so mad, and I was just bleeding on my gums. It was like somebody or myself scratched my gum, like right here. So I was bleeding right there. And so I had just got some tissue, I put it in my mouth, and like I felt where it was at. And then I was like, oh, okay, it's nothing big, it's nothing bad, whatever. And then I cleaned my finger off, and that was that or whatever. So that was one high school story before I moved. And I just was thinking that I ain't had another second one because I was thinking about this high school. But no, after I moved, I did have an altercation with somebody. I forgot about that. And I'm going to tell that story too. So after I moved in school, because I'm talking about in school stuff and bullying, whatever. So this technically, or should I tell this? Because technically it wasn't bullying me. I'm gonna tell it. But anyway, so my sister, so when I moved in 11th grade, I was supposed to graduate early anyway because I was taking 2 English classes. So by the time I finished, I would have had all my classes that I needed to graduate in 11th grade. But when I moved from Illinois to Indiana. And Illinois is way like more advanced. And Indiana is way lower. Like, I don't want to say that in such a bad way because it's really like, it's actually kind of sad, and they need to fix that a little, like they really need to fix that. But like, it was just like going from accelerated, like I said, 2 grade levels ahead of my actual grade, to going to a place where my actual grade level and the average for my grade level was way many grades below what that grade level even was. So I was sick and tired of school or whatever, and I really wasn't going every single day because I could do what I was doing and get good grades and get good grades and decent grades and not doing nothing basically. So I wasn't at school too much. I had started dating this guy, found out he had a baby, whatever, but I still ended up dating him even though, my mama advised me not to because baby mama drama, all that kind of stuff. I'm like, Mom, no, I love kids and he ain't with her, da-da-da-da. He said, da-da-da, this, what they be saying about their baby mama when they broken up. Meanwhile, they be the ones with the baby though, and they be not giving their girlfriend that they trying to make feel okay a baby though, but they had a baby with the one that they so-called hate. So like, don't let these niggas with babies and baby mamas tell y'all other shit and manipulate y'all. Dead them. Don't have no relationship with them. Don't do none of that. let them be with their baby mamas, because that's who they really love. Let them be with them. Anyway, so my sister was going to school, and my sister and my boyfriend at the time, they became besties. So they was at school, and everybody knew that they was besties or whatever. So the baby mama was mad that he had so-called friends. So what I heard had happened was she came up in the school with the baby, whatever, and she was like, who's supposed to be his best friend? He ain't got no best friends, da-da-da-da, something, which the best friend, she talking about my sister. So I'm riding with my sister the whole time, though. Like I said in my other video, my sister very much set me up, very much op. But anyway, at that time, I'm a good big sister, so she telling me that this girl messing with her. So first, I check my boyfriend, like, don't let your baby mama say shit to my sister. Don't, like, none of that, because she ain't involved in shit that y'all got going on. And I don't want no problem. I don't want to fuck somebody up, especially not, you know, what at that time could have been my future stepson's mom. So I was like, no, you don't want me to get involved, because I'm not gonna be nice about it. Don't let her fuck with my sister. So he was like, I'm not. So I start going back to school on and off or whatever. And this specific day in the morning, and then my other sister had came to the school too. So it was all three of us, me, my sister, and my other sister. But I was with my boyfriend, and we was leaving. Me and my boyfriend, we got let off of the morning early dismissal stuff, whatever it's called. We got out first because we older. So me and my boyfriend was walking down the hallway or whatever, but I was like, I'm gonna wait for my sister. Something was telling me I should wait for my sisters. So I waited for my sisters and them, but my sisters and them come around the corner and they see me, and she was like, Keirra, his baby mama, she just came up to me and she rolled her eyes at me and she doing this, and this had was going on for a while. So it was more than just like, oh, this day, like, you know, she wore her eyes, so you fought her because she wore her eyes. No, it was multiple things. My sister steady coming to me saying that this girl picking her, doing stuff, little slick stuff. And I really don't like when people do slick stuff, because that intention thing, like I said, the intention thing is what really get me. It's not the action on the outside, what they say or what they do per se, but it's the intention. So if I could tell you have malicious intent, I got a problem with that. So I'm like, what she doing? What she steady doing? I'm like, bae, I'm finna fight her because she got us fucked up. Da da da. You know, he like, whatever, cool, whatever. So whatever. So I went to see her or whatever, which I'm not gonna lie. So this is my second time starting the fight. So like I said, that first fight that I just told y'all about with the white girl, I started that fight. That was my first time starting the fight. So now this is my second time and last time starting the fight. So I'm like, I see her. She one of the first people to come through the group. I see her and I'm like, something, hey yo bitch, something. I don't know. And you know, like I'm saying, I could have been a bigger person and, you know, left it alone or whatever, and let people do things how they do things. And I don't know. It's just like you can only ignore something in someone so much before it gets to a point where it's like it's no ignoring. You need to deal with it, whatever. So anyway. So, I don't know if I was like, oh, so you messing with my sister, da da da. I don't know if I said or verbalized any of that or anything. But, you know, anyway, we was like, well, you fighting words or whatever. So, you know, we ended up fighting. Mind you, she didn't do nothing to me at that point. Not to my face, nothing like that. Other than on the bus. Okay, so it was a little bit more provoked. So on the bus, it was like a brushlet thing, and I was like, don't touch me or something. I don't know. It was a little something subliminal type stuff, like a little bit of stuff that happened on the bus right before we got into there, which is why, like, my sister's coming to tell me, like, oh, she did this, and this, made me amplify, like, okay, I'm finna beat this bitch up. Or at least, you know, put my hands on her, whatever. It ain't necessarily gotta be beat this bitch up, but, you know, I'm gonna put my hands on her, because motherfuckers, I don't like when people steady do malicious intent. Like, I could tell they doing shit to get under my skin, doing shit to fuck with me, doing shit to really fuck with it, and, you know, they don't get no consequences. I really don't like that. So anyway, so me and her, we fought. And tell me what, after I fought her, so like I said, adrenaline pumping and stuff like that. So I remember hitting my head on the wall, and that's what, right before I blacked out. But other people don't remember that happening, but I remember that happening. Anyway, so I blacked out, we fine or whatever. Then when I black back into, not black back into, but like when I come back into consciousness, we all on the ground and it's hella hands all everywhere. And I don't like when I'm fighting and I feel hella hands and stuff like that, but I calm down. But you know, it was too much space and opportunity at that moment to do with some shit I want to do. So I was like, bing, bing, whatever. So, boom. Then they get me in the office, we got pulled apart and all this kind of stuff. And as my adrenaline again, so as my adrenaline go down, I go and I sit down and I feel my hands, they feel like they not there. So I got a little scared, looked down, and my hands crippled up, like stuck. And I'm like, oh, I can't move my hands, I can't move my hands. And I'm screaming. And they're like, calm down, that's when you gotta calm down, you gotta calm down. So I calmed down. I get my fingers to go back, you know, to normal, bing, bing. But yeah, so then after that day, I was like, yeah, I'm never starting to fight again. Violence is not the answer. And then on top of that, why also is because I started realizing that my sister be instigating. She be instigating. And my ass, I just need to stop letting people instigate towards me. Because that happened before with my cousin 2 times. So that was the other story I was going to tell y'all about from high school, from the first high school. When I was like, nah, because that one was like, it was different. It wasn't all that, whatever. And plus, nobody's fault. But yeah, people like to instigate. So that's another thing with bullying and altercations, all that type of stuff. Don't let people make you stoop to a lower level, and don't let people who like seeing violence and like seeing all altercations and think fighting is funny and like cool and want to record and stuff and say they was there. Don't let them people instigate you and, you know, make you look bad, because this life shit ain't a joke. I mean, it's a simulation, it's a matrix, but it ain't a joke. It ain't a joke. And shit get real. And shit will be real even after you think it's not real no more. That shit get real and it stay real. But yeah, with that being said, I don't know, excuse me. Getting bullied from a younger age, it mess up your mentality. It mess up your self-esteem. It mess up your thought process. And it essentially, that's why a lot of people get depressed, because they feel unworthy. They feel worthless. They feel like they shouldn't be here. They feel like they're causing a problem just by being them and not being, and they don't need to be here and stuff. And they ask themselves, so then why am I here? And, you know, making somebody else feel worthless is not cool. It shouldn't be on your bucket list to make somebody else's life a living hell. Even if your life is a living hell and that's why you're doing that for fun, that is not okay. Bullying is never okay. Violence, 9 times out of 10 is not the answer. 10 times out of 10 shouldn't be the answer. But yeah, I'm gonna leave that right there. Technically, I guess I low-key was just telling stories of me fighting by the end of this video. But still, the overall message is, in bullying, mental health matters. Stuff like that, y'all know. But I guess that's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say, really.